Good evening, Council, members of the gallery, our friends with the media. I'd like to call the regular meeting of Council, the Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, regular meeting of Council to order, 7:01. First up on the agenda is adoption of this evening's agenda. As amended, please, to add item 15.1, a notice to proceed to a closed meeting. Moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Mullock. Any further additions or any deletions? All in favor? It's carried. Adoption of the previous minutes being June 11th, 2024, as presented. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor McLean. Are there any errors or omissions arising? Omissions. Being our task force in the room. All in favor? It's carried. We do have a delegation this evening from Tourism Valemount regarding a Via Rail shelter. With us tonight is Ms. Marcy Down, Executive Director, Tourism Valemount. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Marcy Down, and I'm the Executive Director of Tourism Valemount. Tourism Valemount sent a letter to Mayor and Council regarding a need for a Valemount train station shelter and how we may work together to have a shelter installed for passengers waiting for the Via passenger train. Visitors, residents, and employees within the community are using this form of transportation to visit our community, to commute to work, and to visit those communities on this line around the country. The lack of a shelter available for passengers is an ongoing concern. Passengers are waiting out in the elements unprotected for the train. We would like to inquire into how we can assist in having a shelter installed at the Main Street location. In doing some research, I have discovered some interesting facts. Via Rail services more than 600 train stations across Canada. On May 23, 2024, Via Rail unveiled its plan to transform passenger rail in Canada, in which they created 5 pillars, and I'll read the first 2. The first one, customers and communities, connecting more communities, moving more Canadians. Number 2, safety and security. Safety and security as priority 1 in everything we do for our employees and for our customers. The launch of the plan was on May 23rd, 2024 in Montreal. Mario Peliquin, President and Chief Executive Officer of Via Rail, unveiled the corporation's strategic plan, Via Action 2030. As he stated, the train is the way to the future. Among other things, meet the economic and environmental challenges of the 21st century. Over the past 5 years, the Government of Canada has invested more than $3 billion into the modernization of Via Rail, including the replacement of its Quebec City-Windsor corridor fleet to offer a more modern, comfortable, and accessible travel experience. This strategic plan is the logical next step of this major modernization effort and will allow Via Rail to open the next chapter of its history. The 5 pillars of this plan will enable us, among other things, to improve our operations through innovation, continuous improvement, and to collaborate with the various players of the transportation industry to better serve Canadians from coast to coast. Thanks to this 5-year strategy, we're convinced that even more people will choose the train as the comfortable, sustainable, and accessible transportation solution. As part of this plan, Via Rail wants to improve its service and offer the best passenger experience by example, meeting the diverse accessibility needs of its customers and offering one of the first zero-waste experiences on board in the train world. According to Via Rail 2022 annual report, the stats indicate that 7,385 passengers commuted on the Via Rail from Jasper to Prince Rupert, roughly 142 passengers per week. According to the stats of Via Rail 2023 annual report, that rose to 12,038 passengers for the year and roughly 232 passengers per week. That is an increase of 4,653 passengers from 2022 to 2023. Numbers from Kamloops to Valemount to Jasper are not outlined in the annual reports, and believe me, I searched for those, and I made a few phone calls too. At recent Tourism BC summits, Destination BC, TIA BC, and Thompson Oaken Tourism Association have had discussions on the importance of train travel as a sustainable way to move visitors from one destination to another. Train travel lessens the impact on the highways and reduces single-person vehicle use, reducing the carbon footprint and greenhouse gases. So a look back on a train station in the local media. In 2019, there were a concern of passengers spending the evening out in the cold in minus 34-degree weather, which initiated the conversations with Via Rail for a shelter to be put in place. As we all know, Valemount used to have a train station, but as passenger travel dwindled, it was moved onto property nearby and became the much-loved Valemount Museum. The community of McBride still has a functioning train station. And I thought I'd throw that in. Later, a small shelter was created, but was removed after being vandalized. The shelter still exists on the Gold Years Lodge property. The existing cement pad and signs are located on the CN Rail right-of-way. It was noted then that the village was working with federal partners and was in discussions with Via Rail to find a solution specific to Valemount that would benefit both residents and visitors. So in current news, this is happening in Huntsville, Ontario, and this is the Northland Corridor. With the former Huntsville train station in private hands and the planned return of the passenger rail to Huntsville, Ontario, Northland said it plans to construct glass shelters at many of the stop locations along the future Northlander corridor, including Huntsville. The shelters will be well lit, heated, have next train arrival information, and access to Wi-Fi, stated Kat Bondit, Communications and Issues Management Specialist for Ontario, Northland via email correspondence. The Tourism Valemount Board of Directors would like to know how we can move this initiative forward, what steps we can take together to have an end result of having a well-lit, heated shelter put in place. And I put in brackets, Wi-Fi and next train arrival information would be an added bonus. On behalf of Tourism Board of Directors, thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Down. Motion to receive the delegation, Councillor Mullock, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Questions for the delegation?
Not so much a question, a comment. I mean, this has been an ongoing issue for many years since the shelter was taken out. So it would be nice to find a way for us to be able to support an initiative to try and get a shelter back of some sort.
With that, I can probably, and we don't make decisions during a delegation, but we can probably commit, and I look to Mrs. McNee, an exchange of contact information so we're not duplicating efforts. Follow up, Councillor Pearson?
No, that's all for me. Thanks.
Councillor Blanchette, I think, was next.
Do you have any kind of vision in mind on what kind of shelter, or is there a template or any kind of? Sure.
I'm going to be following closely what they are doing in Huntsville, Ontario, because I think that is going to be not just cutting edge, but cost effective. They are putting quotes out right now for contractors, and they're planning on building 9 of them. And I don't think they're going to be huge by any means. And I was also looking at imagery of what's already kind of in place, and it varies from one community to the next. So even, driving through along the Via line when you're going towards Edmonton, you can see some of the stations, and some of them are just like a bench with like a little overhanging shelter from the snow type of thing, but it doesn't really protect you from the wind. So having something that is see-through, whether it's glass or plastic, that is heated would be a much better idea as well. But then you also have to think about the heat as well. So it would need to be tinted and not become a greenhouse.
Councillor Mullock? Sorry, Councillor Blanchette, did you have a follow-up?
No.
Councillor Mullock?
Well, yeah, I echo what's been said here. I know this has been an ongoing thing for a lot of years, and some Band-Aid plans have been tried over the years, and it hasn't really worked all that well. But thank you for your presentation. Very well prepared, and you expanded on a lot of things. It's interesting to hear about the initiative, you know, trying to make things a little bit better in the train world or in the passenger train world here. And I think the idea of collaborating or seeing what the vision is and looking at what other communities are going to be doing so that there can maybe there's going to be a standard type of thing for communities of our size that could be installed, you know, because you are thinking of the vandalism and you're thinking a lot of things, but to make it usable, long lasting, maintenance friendly, you know, and I think the timing is really good for this. You know, it's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years. I think there's been interest in trying to do something that just kind of disappeared, but timing right now seems to be good for it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I can also, on that, I can probably say that we'll also provide contact info for Tyler Bannock at CN, seeing how it is on the right of way. Councillor Pearson?
Just a quick follow-up too. I mean, the one issue that becomes a problem in having a shelter is living in a community that does not have transit or taxi service. So it's all good and well for tourists to get dropped off, but they better stick a thumb out to get anywhere from there. I mean, very few, other than one particular hotel, have shuttle service. So that becomes a problem too. I mean, I love the idea, and I mean, we see people there all the time, but it's a matter of finding a way for them to get from A to B.
Yeah, getting on the train is one thing, but an adventure. Councillor McLean?
The other issue is, of course, I hear of people spending 4 and 5 hours waiting for the train out there for washrooms. I mean, we're talking almost a full-on train station.
Well, just hopefully it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when the Swiss bakery's open and before 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Ms. Down, thank you so much. Again, we'll commit to getting those contact pieces over to you to get the ball rolling.
All right, thank you.
And just a bit of history, the partnership that we created with VIA was anticipating that the Valemount Hotel would be still open into the future, and since that situation changed, then it provided even less opportunities for passenger rail service. Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor of receipt? It's carried. 5.1, the 2023 annual report. We're looking to approve it this evening. Moved by Councillor McLean, second by Councillor Mullet. Thoughts, discussion? We got a lot of stuff done. Congratulations, council and staff, the entire team. Yeah. All in favor? It's carried. 5.2, the 2023 Sophie, looking to approve it this evening. Moved by Councillor McLean, second by Councillor Pearson. Discussion on approving. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Well done to your entire team. 5.3, UBCM grant application for a C2C with Lheidli T'enneh First Nation. Looking to approve staff to apply for $10,000 for a C2C in October with Lheidli T'enneh. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Mullick. Discussion. It'll be good either way. All in favor? It's carried. Excuse me. 5.4, CBT Ready Grant Adjudication Committee. We're looking to appoint Eugene Jamin, Ricky Plamondon, Jane Weeks, and Cindy Eddy to the Columbia Basin Trust Ready Grant Adjudication Committee for a 2-year term. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Pearson. Discussion. Councillor Mullick.
This is welcome news. You know, having this interest so early and having it out there is going to be definitely very, very helpful for next.
Great. Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, and just thanks to the four for putting the names forward. So it's a tough committee to sit on. So thanks to them for doing it.
Yep, absolutely. Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 5.5, the Trans Mountain Expansion Project Temporary Use Permit Application TUP 2401 at 1755 Highway 5 South. Legally described as Block F of the southeast quarter of District Lot 7354, Caribou District. Proposing the renewal of a TUP 2104 to permit pipeline construction operations for a period of 1 year. We're looking for approval tonight. Yes. I'm sorry, 2101. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Mullock. Discussion. There was no written feedback during the initial period.
Will 1 year be enough?
We shall see. All in favor? Carried. No new business that I've heard, so looking to the reading file, or folks wanting to bring anything to surface. Councillor Pearson?
Yeah, a couple items. Number one, the Columbia River Treaty. Looking at the Kim Basket Recreational Opportunities section in that report. I'd like to know how far recreational opportunities go, because this would be a great discussion point for a weir. So we have year-round recreational opportunities versus 3 months of the year with water at our end of the reservoir.
Well, I mean, technically you do have year-round if you have crampons on your boots, like if you want to get down the broken ice onto the frozen reservoir.
Well, and in light of this week's nasty dust storms coming from the lake, I've heard 2 residents that left town this week because they could not live with the dust because of their breathing. So
Yeah.
I
Don't give away all of our cards in the ministerial meeting.
think this would be a great opportunity to pursue that as a subject line. And then towards the bottom, they actually did talk of air quality. And I'm just wondering if any of that data was provided to us as council.
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
The PM10 sensor is not a real-time recording sensor. It actually has to be physically inspected and then data taken from it.
Right.
Whereas the city of Quesnel enjoys a PM10 sensor that has real-time reporting.
Okay.
So looking forward to UBCM and further discussions.
And on that note, item number 2, resource breakfast series. Are we looking to start booking those now, or it's tough not knowing the UBCM schedule, but
Yeah, it is. I'm sure we can probably late July, early August, we might have a schedule that for workshops, but they're 7:00 breakfast, so.
yeah,
Let's hold off,
we definitely don't interfere with ministerial meetings at 7 in the morning, that's for sure.
only with the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. She likes to get up early.
Okay, that was all for me, thanks.
You bet. Anybody else? Okay. Does anybody have a notice of motion to bring forward? Okay, council reports. Let's start with the last person that spoke, Councillor Pearson.
Righty. Covering a little span of time since I wasn't at the last council meeting. June 8th, joined Mayor Torgerson and Councillor McLean in the Vail Mountain Days Parade. I think we learned a valuable lesson during that parade. So we took part in the parade and then also had the EVs for the show and shine. And there was a lot of interest expressed in the lightning and how it was working out for us. June 10th, we had our Nerd Community Collaborative table meeting. June 18th, Valemount Community Forest and Industrial Park meetings. June 19th, Committee of the Whole meeting with Mayor Torgerson, Councillor McLean, Councillor Mulek, CAO Yansu to discuss UBCM minister meeting requests. That was followed immediately by a KPMG presentation of the Valemount Community Forest and Valemount Industrial Park financials for 2023. And that evening, there was a meet and greet welcome with Regional District Fraser Fort George board members and staff at the Summit Grill. And yeah, that was a good evening. June 20th, attended the Regional District board meetings here in town at the Community Hall. It's always interesting to watch how RD processes work versus municipal government. They have a couple cool rules that I think we should adopt. And on June 24th, had a Zoom interview with Cheryl John of CKPG News regarding TCYHA resolutions being moved forward, discussing passing lanes, cellular connectivity, and improvements to the Westgate into Jasper National Park.
Nice. Thank you. Councillor Blanchette. Excellent. We'll go right to your right. Councillor Mulek.
On June 17th, NDIT Regional Advisory Committee. June 18th, Tourism Valemount meeting. June 19th, Committee of the Whole with yours truly. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Councillor McLean.
On June 17th, I attended the online BC Hydro Local Government Committee update, followed by the regular meeting of the committees, the Local Government Committee of the Treaty. On June 19th, I attended the CBRAC webinar, BC Hydro's Call for Power and Integrated, as well as the Council Committee of the Whole meeting for ministerial meetings, and then the review of the Valemount Community Forest and Valemount Industrial Parks financial statements with the board, staff, and auditors. On June 20th in the morning, I drove as part of the Regional District's tour of the Kinbasket area, and in the afternoon, I attended the Regional District's regular meeting held here in the Community Hall. And yesterday, I attended the Indigenous check-in with the CRT Local Governments Committee. And in between all of this, I drive down the reservoir and take pictures documenting all these dust storms. And I have used more than half a tank of gas already this week, and I am also soliciting others to send me pictures, time and date stamped. And I'm going to compile all of this in tabular form with the date and a picture and bring it to the Local Governments Committee. That's what they have asked me to do every time I complain.
Excellent. Thank you. I can send you a couple of different videos that are now on YouTube.
Okay. Time and date stamped is of utmost importance, but I'm also particularly interested in historical documentation of storms last winter, January, February, when the reservoir did not have any snow on it, but we had snow in town, and all that dirt was blowing into town, and we know exactly where it was coming from.
We were down on Christmas Day. And then again, I was at work, I believe it was February the 19th.
Right.
Had to, pretty horrific dust.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind forwarding that to me,
No problem.
that would be great. It was pretty spectacular on, I believe, Saturday or Sunday. I went down both days, but one day it was much worse than the other. It was, or you were sandblasted.
Yeah, I think that would have been Saturday because it was grad.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Everyone was glittered right up with mica. Thank you. June 12th, had a Northern Health staffing presentation with a lot of the other mayors in the Northern Health region. June 13th, Resort Municipalities Collaboration Mayors Advocacy Group meeting. June 14th, attended the Varda Spring Bike Fest. Extremely well run this year. June 18th, had a provincial hazard update. It was right around the time that Fort Nelson was just getting back to town, or back from evacuations. Fun one on June 19th in the morning had a representatives from Hope Air fly in, stop, and we did a bunch of introductions throughout the town, particularly with the health center. This group of pilots they are flying all over Canada, just spreading the word that what Hope Air does and who qualifies, and it's a non-emergent patient attending treatments or other specialty appointments in urban areas where a sponsored aircraft with a volunteer pilot will come and pick you up from Valemount Airport, take you to Prince George, Kelowna, Vancouver. So made introductions with Vicky Rensby. Made sure that folks are going to get into know Hope Air quicker. CBT is a sponsor. They have a funding agreement for $60,000 a year for the next 3 years. Committee of the whole, the committee of the whole was fun as well, but it was a committee of the whole for UBCM ministerial meeting requests. Again, following with the Valemount Community Forest and the Valemount Industrial Park financial audit presentation. Fun was had by all at the RDFFG dinner on the 19th as their board was on the road here. And then joined about half the board and probably half of the senior staff that were present on a tour of Valemount, Kinbasket, the Industrial Park, George Hicks Park, the museum, the various housing projects that were partnered with on either land exchanges or DCC waiving. Then right to it, to an open board session, and then into a regional hospital board closed session. And then I had the immense privilege of attending the Valemount Secondary School graduation commencement ceremony. That's me. Motion, we don't have to receive anymore, do we? Nope. Okay. Any discussion? Questions?
Quick compliment on Councillor McLean's report. The Saturday morning I got up, I could not see Canoe Mountain for dust. So wanted to put my drone up to get some footage, but unfortunately,
Would have been somewhere else.
yes, it would not fly in the wind, but that's what we need is some excellent drone footage to really show that. So thank you.
Yeah, mine, as soon as I take off, it starts beeping and going. I may not come back.
I don't like this.
Thank you. Are there, under 14.1, are there any public comments this evening as part of items considered by council on the approved agenda? Got to be one in the 50 people that are in the gallery. No comment. Thank you. Then we'll give notice to proceed to a closed meeting. For consideration of two items, section 91D and K of the community charter discuss matters related to D, the security of the property of the municipality, and K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are in their preliminary stages and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality if they were held in public. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. All in favor? Carried. And that concludes our open meeting.